Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome on back in. Good to see you all. Let's pop that thing out. Make sure that everything is working just fine. There we go. Well, there. everyone. Nice and set up, and we're going to be commencing with our painting journey. For those of you not in the know, I have a big old backlog of all kinds of things that I still have to get painted up, and making progress in that is the predominant reason why I'm doing the streaming, and figured I'd start that off, like we started that off not that long ago with a friend over here, who we'll be starting off by giving him a bass, playing this one to him, and then we're going to be commencing with the Tayuri, a model from not a Kickstarter, a Patreon page that I follow called Archvillain Games. They fairly frequently give every month they have a themed batch of STL files that they release for people to print and paint, and I've been looking at Tayuri for a while now. She's looks like a very fun sculpt. However, the predominant thing that I have with Tayuri is the fact that Archvillain Games they release their stuff with specific bases, and as a result of which, it's like, well, you can glue them on okay, just fine. That's no problem. However, in this case, they're separate, and Tayuri's base here, it has a very big lantern thing with which I'm like, well, I'd want to do something with that before I attach everything together. And then, of course, because it's a normal sculpt, like there's a bunch of very slight OSL that I would have to do to finish everything up. So I'm going to be painting these two things separately for a bit, and then I'm going to be getting them to a point in which I'm like, okay, yeah, I can add them together again now without worrying that I'm going to be messing up any of the details on either of them. Also, you might have noticed it in the BRB screen, or the starting screen, I have figured something out for to get myself some sound, so I can finally enjoy the dulcet tones that I let you guys listen to. Now, I did do a little bit of work on this thing yesterday, so I am also going to have to check if everything looks good. Try to look at what options I have in terms of like getting the zoom in there, but probably not that many. That's all against it. In any case, the vast majority of what I was working on yesterday was the base and at least some of the underlayers of the miniature itself. So I'm going to be touching up some of the things in which I'm like, well, I need to make sure that that looks and works fine. And then also, well, finish up the big rock there and instantiate some of the OSL that I have in mind. But first, let's get Ephraim onto a base. One footloose. There we go. Second footloose. We can use this base for a later printed mini. I was using super glue to attach it to the base, so getting rid of the prime on the base. Good place to start. I'll probably throw on a layer of varnish on the onto this mini as well. Kind of like the final touch. Maybe using an X-Acto knife isn't exactly the best of ideas here. There we go. Weird being able to hear the music. Used to just having this on just like without being able to listen to it. This will work just for what we need it for, which is a character mini for sidekicks. Because Ephraim was very specifically a paint. 1 second, please. Was suspected spam, so no need to worry about that. I'm going to be doing a bit of dry brushing here. A little dry brush palette. I'm going to be dry brushing up the rock. Brush nice and damp. Grab a glove. Let's use some Dawnstone for this. Is this going to work the way that I want it to? Not sure. Probably not. Oh well. Although, I say that, it's not doing as poorly as I thought it would. Dry brushing is such an incredibly specific technique. You know, go everything again with the second layer where needed. With dry brushing, the thing that you do have to pay attention to is that, like, most people, when they think dry brushing, they're like, oh, you know, you're using one of those really thick, hard, bristled brushes. But you can also just go for a cheap makeup brush for well, softer bristles, which makes it less harsh. Also means you can add more of varying different effects, like stippling. You can stipple stuff on more. Yep. I don't want to spend too much time on the base, but do have to keep an eye on it. There's a lot of detail, a lot of time that I'm spending on the lanterns. Going in with a size 0. Which, strictly technically, isn't the finest brush that I have, but it is a very fine brush. You can see like the detail that I'm working on here. Odds are probably not. I'm not that happy with the quality that this webcam is outputting anymore. Works just fine if you're just like looking at something and just using it as a small camera, but at this point I'm using it for more macro stuff. And I can't exactly hang my DSLR up here. I've been looking into getting some setup upgrades here. I cannot say for sure if it's a good idea that I have the music on in the background and that I can hear it. I'll just start humming along. Got that paint going again. Nothing that a quick little touch-up won't fix. I can just like add some separate edge highlights, at least to the outside. Maybe one or two on the inside. Then just reinstate the colors that I slightly dry brushed over. Didn't think that particular step through. Because if I had, I would have just done the rocks first before doing anything else. But oh well. Live and learn. Why would I just be focusing on getting the edge highlights at the very top? Why? Because we're going to be doing it again with some blue horror, which is also going to be the OSL light that I'm going to be using for the light that comes from these lanterns that are supernaturally lit, or it's supposed to be supernaturally lit, rather. Also going to be the big source of what little OSL I am going to be working on to Tayuri herself. Because otherwise it's just going to be like, okay, zenithal light from above. And other than that, I always want to like try to, like, that's my one little bit of like, okay, challenge yourself here, things for Tayuri, which is well, the lanterns, and how do I incorporate them and properly work them into the workflow of the mini. And in this case, it's like, okay, well, I'll just do as much as I can separately, and eventually combine the two. Also, regularly speaking, this would be something that I'm like, yeah, no, let's do that on my hand itself, but this is a very dirty, poopy brown. And that is not going to look good, because I have things to do tomorrow. Because I actually have a week off this week. Like, taking up some time for myself, just kind of calculated, like, okay, if I'm Gonna be going on vacation properly in February, and have nothing else planned in between that. How am I gonna fill all that out? And I decided to fill it up by taking up a week in September. So this is my week break. Yeah, my size 2. I think not having bits of the statue be kind of dirty is kind of fitting. But I don't need to pay that much attention to that. The predominant focus should be her. I think that a very light wash over top should be considered. Just so that I can get some definition in those different folds of the lanterns. The very top isn't going to be as affected by the light from the lanterns itself as the rest of it is. So why not add that definition this way, and then once I'm using other reds and stuff, I'll add the light where needed here. The additional red color, rather. As much as I like the thematics of many of the sculpts that they come with, Archvillain Games, I can't say that I'm a particular fan of how much detail they work in there. It was Ninjon who pointed out, like, yeah, no, because there's a lot of people that make 3D sculpts. However, they don't really think about the medium in which it's going to be painted, so, or how it's going to be done. It's like, okay, I'm focusing on getting this beautiful swordsman ready to go, and if I look this guy over, like, good Christ, the amount of detail that they worked into this, that the 3D print couldn't handle some of the details. And don't think if the 3D printer couldn't handle it, then my eye certainly sure as shit can. Like, if we move Kaine over to the side, I have this big boy. Certified big boy, like all of those feathers, they're like, that's all going to be washing and dry brushing. And maybe a little bit of extra focus on the skin, like all these feathers, they have so much little detail woven in everywhere here. Yeah, no, that's absolutely something like, yeah, no, if I want it to be more of a rough effect, so I'm gonna have to forego the strict layering of everything. But let's work a bit more on Tayuri herself. These were paints that I was using last night, so in this particular instance I'm like, well, it's fine to reuse them. I don't have to reapply everything. I mean, it feels kind of strange to be streaming this early. Normally it's dark outside and it's beginning to cool off a bit, but no. Not today. Today it's full blast 30 degrees outside. It makes me very sad. Definitely much more of a autumn person than a summer person. Also, now that I at least have like some of the base stuff ready and can always apply attach the miniature to the base, I can see what does show up and what does not. Like, what should I pay attention to because people will be able to see that, and what can I just like give one, maybe 2 layers and then just kind of leave it be. The inner loincloth is definitely a 1 to 2 layer thing. Don't want to pay too much attention to it, don't want to draw too much attention to it either. Loincloth leotard is probably the better gnomer for this. I do have to say, it feels very weird to actually just be using like a proper wet palette paper and not the oven roll that I was using previously. Like, I can tell the difference in how the paints handle being left out overnight. recording this particular mix went, because it's all piano stuff. Piano covers of existing Zelda songs. Son of a bitch. She's fine though. Like, that's one thing that I will say is very good about this particular sculpt. There's not a lot of detail that you can break off very easily. That is always a plus. Because in these kinds of instances in which I drop it, I'm always much more so like, okay, see if I can stop the miniature from falling, but if it starts falling, just let it fall. Because I'm more than likely going to be doing more damage to the miniature if I try to stop it from, like if I try to actually catch it, than if I just let it fall. Also, going over everything again with the second layer is also very useful. Kind of showing where all the parts are that I missed earlier. Like, because I'm going over the lower parts here, I can see here that I didn't properly get her heel. Okay, let's get started on that OSO on the base. Oh, Jesus. And for this, what I'm going to be doing is just like adding it's very much so specifically focused on the middle, going more into the center of the lantern here. Trying to give the impression that there is an internal light source there. Go in an edge highlight. Everything immediately there. Thomas quietly says to himself. Sorry that you guys can't really see this. I kind of need to keep a good look on what it is that I'm hitting. There will be like kind of there. Thick layer for the edge highlights, and then just gonna come in again with a glaze after the fact to try to sell the effect. There'll be much more there. Na 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 This is one of those things in which I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this, but I'm not sure how good it's gonna look once I'm done with it. I'm not very optimistic about my chances with it looking good, but at least I'll have it done and I'll have learned from it. Let's think about what it is that I've learned from it, which can range from these details are too finicky to be able to properly, for at least my skill level, to be able to properly do just like brush and paint and no dry brushing. It could also very easily be, well, Thomas, you need to like focus a bit more on your OSL, or it can also be, don't do that. Let me actually see if I can zoom this in even further. That looks a bit better. I kind of need to keep looking at my setup and slowly figure out how I can improve it. Because like, as much as I have ideas as to what I'm going to be doing here, I do want it to look good. And I can already tell that my lights here, they are just a smidge too strong. Like, what I can see is just being like, okay, it's fairly diffuse light. Is not diffuse light for all of you guys. How would that look? And then see how it would look with an attempt at diffusing the light. This is part miniature painting, part troubleshooting. Highly scuffed stream. Thomas, what are you doing? What are you doing that isn't miniature painting? Well, it's diffusing the light. Maybe it doesn't look as ridiculous. Ugh. Let's take the glove off. doesn't look like as big a mess, I think. Oh, come on. Stay attached, please, and thank you. That there. All of this is kind of to try to help my webcam along with, well, the white balance. Okay, fine. Just that I don't have big ol' annoying pieces of paper kind of just hanging out at me. Would you look at that, we're trying to solve Scuff live. Call me Ama. Watch there like be a very specifically dedicated IKEA product that does just this. So what I'm using right here are 2 IKEA lamps. That I can move around freely. And the lamps are nice. They do their job. I can see what I'm doing. However, the webcam, I'm afraid, cannot. And that's probably just a sign of the age of the thing. It's, what, 9-year-old webcam? No, 2014, 2015, 2016. It was probably produced like 8 years ago or so. So at this point, it is fairly old and worn, and I might be able to reuse or gets to use another webcam. For my dad, because he is unfortunately being medically forced to retire. Go. There. This smidge more diffused. Doesn't help out with much of the detail. Doesn't help out at all, actually, with like the detailing, but it does kind of reduce the sheer shadow get here. So the shadows themselves aren't as prominent. Move it away from looking straight at my hand. Is this still damp? It is, yes. And why am I checking that my paper towel is damp? Well, because it is a paper towel. Simply put. Like more often than not, when painting, you do want to have some moisture in your brush to make sure that the paint flows off fine. And paper towels like this, they are very good at absorbing water. So if you don't make sure that your paper towel is damp, you can very easily run into the problem of your paints getting too dry to use. Or to use in the way that you had intended to use them. There we go. There that goes. Honestly, I could always try and see how it goes with an airbrush, but can't really be bothered. Right. Fresh glove. Because we will probably end up working further on Tayuri herself. I'm kind of thinking like what exactly else I'm going to be doing with her palette. Like the red hair, I'm very happy with that as a base color. Maybe have some black underneath it. What color am I going to make these ropes, the armor, her hair? I think that the answer to a lot of this is black, and specifically a Abaddon black, especially for the lacquered parts, but what exactly am I going to be qualifying as lacquered? But in any case, we do have the rubber red still from AK Interactive on the palette. Which is not so much a black as it is a very, very dark gray. We're going to be doing the inside of the whatchamacallit, the hip thing in that color. I'm just going to be adding a very quick little base coat just to see how it looks. Then we're going to be finishing up the inside parts that would be very hard for me to reach. Then the Abaddon black for the lacquer, that is something that we're going to be doing later on. Just going to be focusing on the things that are very clearly visible. Okay. With the rubber black at the base there done. I think I'll also add it to the back here. You can't really see it, but she has the little spirals over there. And I'll just add a single layer just to distinguish it from the rest. Intense focus. I should probably use a smaller brush for this. And I just so happen to have a smaller brush ready and waiting for me. Very smooth. Can you see it now? Vaguely, which is not good. Yeah, just add the black there just to distinguish it from the rest. Make sure that you can see that it's there. I'm gonna keep her hair black. So what I mean with the the lacquer, I mean like the sheath to the sword, the bits and pieces of her armor, I'm like, well, those are probably going to be wooden. Shoulder pieces there, sheath here. That's all going to be lacquer, that's all going to be Abaddon black, and I'm kind of wondering how best I'm going to be doing that. Like, I know for a fact that I'm going to be adding gloss varnish specifically to those parts as kind of like the final step. While I ponder this, let's go do a little bit of flesh. Specifically on the leg and on the inside of the leg. Size 1. Come here. Skin tones are one of the few places in which I know that it is actually still very doable to use Citadel paints, because I've had this discussion with people in the past about, like, okay, so how do different paint brands impact how certain things work? And most paint brands, they have a very specific finish to them. Like, you can see here, like, AK Interactive on the inside, that's all done with rubber black, and that is a very matte finish to the how everything works. Now, if you contrast that with the Kazachan flesh tone that I had over there from Citadel Paints, you will notice that that is a little bit more reflective, a little bit more satiny in its finish, and it's in kind of like those things in which you really do begin to notice the differences between the different paint brands, because for some things, like skin tone, which is a naturally very oily surface, oily substance, there you notice it very clearly when you're using a Citadel paint, because it is a more satiny thing. So it looks a little bit more natural than otherwise. Or at least it reads to the eye as more of a natural thing. And honestly, that is what most of miniature painting is, just kind of tricking the eye and the mind to an initial glance be like, oh hey, this is a human. This is human skin tone. Now this miniature, if you looked at the thumbnail of this particular stream, you'll probably notice that it has very prominent boobage. Fairly well established under boobage as well. So that is going to be a fun little experiment. Seeing how best I'm going to be painting that. I might actually also have to come in later and just reinstantiate that shadow. I know you can very clearly see that there's a difference there. Giving her, I'm going to be going fairly high in terms of the colors that I go into with her. So if you have anything particular to say, Gil, I know you're watching, be sure to just, feel free to just put it in chat. Because a lot of this is a lot of troubleshooting as well. Set up an exposure filter. Instead of OBS, to put a filter on the cam to help with the glare. Where in particular would I be looking for that? Color correction? No. Because yeah, it's absolutely overexposed, at least on the camera. Like in my hand, it doesn't look like it's that bad, but through the webcam it looks like it's very bad. Now that's better. Just a simple act of moving my lights. But then I can't really use them. That's why I'm kind of like, okay, I want to have the webcam a little bit further over this way. So I can position the light in a place that I can still see what I'm doing. And not necessarily have to worry too much about. how the camera looks. Yeah, I know, that's just the simple act of shifting the lights to a point at which it more so matches up with what's coming in from the camera itself. But that makes it fucking hard for me to see. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Welcome on in. We are currently painting Tayuri, an Archvillain Games release from a couple of months ago. As nice as Archvillain Games' sculpts look, they are fucking finicky. And I've mostly just been focusing on her because she's currently like 2 separate parts. Just helped Gypsy finish the last bits and bobs around the house, and just gonna do some more mic testing in a bit. Alrighty. I'll probably swing in for that because I'm probably gonna be going for like until 5-ish. Then I'm gonna be cooking dinner for myself, and then I'm probably gonna boot up Final Fantasy 16 again so I can get some screenshots for my review of that. Like, see, this is where the problem is. It's like, okay, the light's not coming from here, so I don't really get to see what it is I'm doing. But if I shift it over here, like, shit gets overexposed again. But I can see what I'm doing. So I really want to move the webcam. That's the end of that mix. And normally I wouldn't know when the end of the mix is because I don't have any sound. However, I do now have sound. Found an old little old SteelSeries sound card from one of their old headphones that I had. Oh, 1 second. Right! I've been looking forward to getting these bad boys in for a while now. Could probably just add like a bunch of different filters to have different zoom levels here, but I had a while back, complete aside, I had ordered some fancy boots in preparation for my favorite season, which is fall. I ordered some boots from the Thursday Boot Company. That smells like poor climate change choices. and choices that would make my flex vegan ex-girlfriend hate me. But I have new boots. Ooh. These things look very attractive. Impromptu unboxing. Buy 100% biodegradable bag. Good. Oh, run buggy. Look at that. That heel is a very solid heel. I had not expected that. Very interested to see if they fit. Because these are leather boots, the makers of these boots themselves, they did recommend, okay, go a size smaller than what you would normally get for sneakers. So I did, or half a size smaller. In US sizes. In US sizes, I'm usually an 11. So based on their own recommendation, I would be a 10.5. Oh, these smell. Immediately places one in paint. It's just the towel. I was hoping that they'd come in today, actually, because I do have something to do for work tomorrow. Even though I have a week off, I am still like, well, I will do a little bit for work, because there is a game industry networking lunch every first Wednesday of the month, and I wasn't able to go the past 2 times because the last 2 months, because once my new roommate was coming in, and the second time they were on break as well. So there was no networking and no lunching to be had. But the next iteration is coming up on Wednesday. Okay. Well, the left shoe fits, and that is important for me. Because last time I bought some new boots, the right one fit like a charm. However, the left foot was egregiously painful. Like it was bad. How annoying it was. Sure. Well, I was managing to break it in eventually. It was some boots with some zippers on the side. So the zipper kept on shooting out of the zipper was bad, so it kept on shooting out of place. Which made it even more annoying. Hey, now I have these nice boots. I'm gonna be able to break them in properly tomorrow. And or a bit now. Because what I usually do with these kinds of things is I usually just keep them on for a while. Just go about my business in them. Okay. Well, there we go. Let's keep on going. Back to painting we go. The poor dude as he was delivering everything. It's a broiling hot day here in the Netherlands. And the dude as he came up, he was like he was actively panting, but it was like, oh my god, that was such a far walk. It's not that far to get up to my place, but especially in heat like this, I can definitely see that being an annoyance. Have you actually been doing any painting recently, Gil? Probably not. But do you have anything planned for painting and miniatures and hobby stuff? Oh, what's all this then, buddy? Huh? This is the base coat. realize now that there were a couple of parts that I missed. Paint those fingers. Thumb, the elbow, the elbow is one of those incredibly finicky small parts of skin that is visible, but for the life of me I'm never going to be able to properly keep it that way. Blend down a bit. Okay, this absolutely confirms that I should probably just kind of looking at how everything, like, you can see the color here, and that just makes it so much better in terms of just like what you're able to see. So I'm definitely going to be moving the webcam over a little bit closer to me in person. And for that I'm going to need to get one of those tripod screws, or hell, just a very light tripod. Let's see how accessible everything is. I'll have to look, see how accessible everything is once I have it attached to the base. Okay, well, there's the inside part of it there, so I'll have to make sure that the rubber black looks good. Make sure that this gets nice and even coverage. The cloth was fairly... I have to think about what I'm going to be, those ropes at the bottom looking like. Those are going to be difficult to reach. Really just the base coats, darkest color that I'm adding here, just to have it blocked out. Twilight Princess's Kakariko Village. That's what we're listening to right now. Is it? Yeah, it is, right? Okay, I'm going to be adding the next layer to the skin, and then I'm going to be switching over to the base. I'm just making sure that the base works. So finicky. Sigh of intense focus and concentration. I will say that that is probably one of the big downsides of painting 3D printed stuff. It's unlike when you're painting like an army, Games Workshop, or for a war game or a board game or something. There you at least have the chance to practice specific things that you're focusing on with the unit that you're painting. And just like really just drill that home. Focusing specifically on just like single characters and not painting an army or something, don't get the opportunity to focus super hard on just like really perfecting a single part of what it is that I'm doing. It's like, oh yeah, no, everything kind of has to be to a relatively high standard. And I have nothing previously to build it off of. Well, it's absolutely just kind of like a way that one of the downsides of the way that I engage with the hobby. And I do still have a bunch of different more troop-like formations. From Games Workshop that I can work further with to further improve specific things. Kind of like working in a kitchen. At a certain point, once you kind of know the basis of what you're doing, it just becomes about repetition. Once you've repeated it to the same standard that you would have, that you want it to be enough times, you can just get more proficient in it. So we're also working to get to that point. And that is where painting miniatures like this, like individual character miniatures, where that kind of falls short. Don't really get the chance to just perfect one hyper-specific thing. There's an additional layer of skin added on. Let's work a bit on that fox. This is something that is large enough that I can really just kind of focus on specific aspects. That's absolutely one of the big downsides of kind of this particular miniature. I can't really talk as much because I'm so busy focusing on just getting everything, getting the paint on properly. It might also just be a matter of experience. But it wasn't necessarily a problem previously. And some blue. Blue and yellow. I quite like how that is slowly turning out. Got some more blue. Gonna grab the most prominent points. Where the blue itself would look the most visible and kind of add on a layer there. Switch back over to this ivory color. Specifically just highlights it, and you don't have to go too hard on this. In this case, I'm kind of thinking that I should use short, scratchy strokes. Kind of emphasize that this thing is fairly worn. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? I know, I should probably stretch and go cook dinner. Soon, though, buddy. Don't worry. looks like it's a very soft glow. Or do you want to come up and drink some water, buddy? Or just here to say hello? You're gonna have to tell me what it is, buddy. Otherwise I wouldn't know what to adapt to. Okay, let's use the small dry brush for this. Kind of thinking that like this grass, like there's a grassy part over here, like you can kind of see the line over there where it kind of distinguishes itself from, like, this is kind of like, okay, this is more of a earth and this here is more grassy, so I'm going to be focusing on getting a little bit of a grassy effect there, or at least a dried out grass effect. I'm going to quickly put my wet palette aside. Whip out the normal palette. Maybe starting out with some golden brown. I could get going into ochre. Good deal of a better shake. Okay. Golden brown. And sand yellow. Now, normally this is where I know that there's some particular tools that will be like, yeah, no, you can use this to see how your dry brush is going to go. Called texture palettes, which is predominantly something that you can buy from Artis Opus. However, I have access to a laser cutter, so I don't necessarily have to worry too much about buying one. I can just cut one out. Mix it in with that one. Dry brush a bit more in. The secret to kind of doing this kind of dry brushing style is just keep on using the same mix that you were using previously. Just like adding more colors into it every time to kind of build up a more natural transition. Here I'm just using the same part again with the same paints kind of mixed in. It's a hot mess. And maybe I could have used different colors paints for this, but oh well. And the more you add on, the more selective you can be and the more precise. Okay, I'm just being very gentle in application. And purely with this. Let's add some. See what happens when I add some deck tan to it. I don't particularly care. Beep. Finally, just pure deck tan. Kind of pump up that contrast just a little bit more. It shall function. And at least I'm really being really uppity about it. The more often I do this. No, 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 no. Stretchy doodle. And with yellow, it kind of adds on the additional layer of, okay, that's the last color that I add. I'm very happy with that. What now? What the ruddy fuck? That is a weird message to receive. What the fuck? The question is, will I be able to reach down here? No, I won't. Grab my size 1. Actually, do grab the Abaddon Black. It's just one single part. I'm gonna have to add it to. I like that the paint is fairly thick. I think I might just use my synthetic brush for this. I'll probably add 2 layers. I'm not going to be adding any edge highlighting to it, depending on how it looks once I put it on there. Wrong paint. We'll add the black hair as well. Just didn't know where to work from. then I will have gotten her far enough that I can glue her to the base. I mean, technically this particular step is optional for that. If that is the explicit goal, then this step is optional, but I'm gonna have to do it anyway. Might as well. Yeah, just kind of looking at it as it's already kind of dried up at the top there, it's very much more satiny than the rubber black there. I'm gonna take a picture of the paint. Kind of have a rough idea as to what it is that I'm working with. Kind of seeing how it might look if I were to do this stuff with a phone camera. Might be worth experimenting with. In any case, yeah, that's enough of that painted. Let's be very careful in the application of the super glue. And by very careful, I mean let's make use of a separate little stick. Which I have the super glue, not to the mat. Super glue and add elsewhere. very happy with how that's turning out so far. Can I still use some of that red? I think I can. Am I jumping the gun by redoing the base? Yes, I am. But considering that it is a very peculiar pattern, I'm kind of like, well, I'd like to keep that in place and then be able to work from there. Because I'm going to have to add on all the details there anyway. And if I just kind of accept that, well, this is how the base is going to look. It's not the greatest. It's not the most miraculously amazing base that I've ever done. Like, I have actually done bases that look very nice. But they were much more so fitting set pieces for the miniature that they were on. And that particular miniature itself had also gotten a lot of attention from me. And here this is predominantly just like, okay, let's just kind of, well, not really have to worry too much about the lower part, focus more of it on the upper part. And now that it's actually attached to the base, I'm pretty sure that it will be able to do that. Let's focus a little bit more on the part that I really want to draw attention to. Okay. Well, that's that red rim redone, and I'm very happy with how this is looking so far. I'm very much so looking forward to seeing how I will wrap everything up now that it's actually attached to the base, and how it will look when everything's done. Yeah, with that in mind, guys, thank you also very much for watching. Thank you for dropping by and giving those extra little pointers, Gil. Very much appreciated. Yum, yum, yum. Up. Yeah. Oof, I really need to go stretch. I'm just sitting here for oh, it's a little bit over 5 even. Nice. I held it out a bit longer. Right. Very well, guys. Thank you also very much for watching. For those of you who do end up watching on the VOD, thank you very much for that. That is very much appreciated. If you do at some point in the future, in this nebulous future, going far and far into the future, end up winding up at this point at the very end of the VOD. Thank you very much for watching. Again, very much appreciated. Today we got a fair amount of done work done on Tayuri here. She we did a couple of layers of the skin. We've wrapped up the base to a point in which I'm like, well, this will work. Kind of keeping everything in line with the tones that I'm going to be adding into the leather later on. Then next time, I'm going to keep on popping the skin up further and further. So let's maybe figure out what I'm going to be doing up here on the shoulder pieces. And then just keep on building up the colors until at one point I reach the last 20%, in which in my case would be kind of just like doing the final details. Which should take like a session or two, or 2 or 3, but Jesus, just kind of like actually getting more and more paint onto this miniature, the more surprised I am with just how many tiny little fucking details that there are on this thing. Like, and I thought that it was bad with I didn't think that it was bad with Alhar, actually. With Alhar, I was very much like, yeah, no, I know how to I know how to tackle these details. It's just a problem with how I primed it and how it came out of the print. But I can add details to it, like I did with the belts. But this also definitely kind of showed how it is that I can improve how the setup works. Definitely need to move the webcam, if not consider finding a replacement, and I'll probably have to sit behind this computer for a bit longer to get everything sorted in terms of like light. The light is going to be a very big issue because, as we discovered, like keeping it over here, which is more comfortable for me for painting, is a good deal less comfortable for you guys for viewing. It washes out all the color that I'm working on, and I can see it just fine, but you guys can't, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we've made progress on Tayuri today. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you all the next stream. Bye-bye.